Welcome to the maiden voyage of Capitalist Wire, my friend.
What is going on, man?
James Smiley, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I grew up in Seattle. I was there for 20 years. I kind of grew up middle class, lower middle class. For some of my most impressionable years, I was in the inner city for a while. And, I was arrested at 16. Sports basically got me out of being a nuthead, Interesting. Now that I can look back, I feel like it's like all like a God thing, the way it happened. But like I'm half Korean, half Italian. I had a Mexican stepmom who raised me, who took care of me. For my most impressionable years, I grew up in a black neighborhood. So,
all right.
I mean, it was like, and then I went on to be a part of a Silicon Valley IPO, made my first 6 figures at 20. And so it's just like, I was an athlete, a sports athlete, outdoor kid as well.
Did you make that money almost as I'm never going to be broke kind of mentality? I mean, what? That's a lot of money for a 20-year-old.
Yeah. So, the way that I grew up in a highly democratic kind of integration of atmosphere, the way the city was set up. So the minority kids where we lived, we were being shipped to the white neighborhoods in West Seattle, and which is where the beach and all this stuff is. And half of their students were being shipped to minority neighborhoods. And so it was this like big integration project that was happening in the mid 90s. And so it was funny because like on the freeway, we would see the white kids going by and all the ghetto kids going by the other way. We're like flipping them off and throwing stuff at them,
Well, was it like that when you got to school? Were you one of the poor kids? Did that just fly all over you?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I wasn't set up for, is like, you get off the bus and I mean, you're like in phenomenal neighborhoods. I mean, I went to Alki Elementary School, which is an elementary school right on the beach. Like how many schools are actually right on the beach? I mean,
yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, you look out the window and Alki Elementary is like right on the beach. You can see the beach. Like it's a little bit of ways away, but you can literally see a white sand beach right there.
So you're going from the ghetto to one of the probably $1 million home districts.
Yeah, I mean, all the teachers are driving Benz and, nice cars that I've never even seen. I didn't even know what they were. I didn't know what a BMW was. I didn't know anything about that. And also, I think the teachers didn't know how to deal with us as well. Like we were the minority kids. And so it was like, we were poor minority kids, mostly sitting in the back. And they really didn't know like how to deal with us, with our attitudes, with our innuendos, so.
What a crazy time.
Yeah. So it made me feel like, man, I don't ever want to be poor. Like, like I remember my friends would tell me like we drive the most crappy car in the whole school, so like during parent teacher nights and all this stuff, like the last thing me and my brother ever wanted was like to be seen.
So you're embarrassed.
Yeah. And now whether we should or shouldn't have felt like that, I don't know, but like that's just the reality.
Doesn't matter
how it was. And it was everything from like, you go to lunch and all these kids have these phenomenal lunches. They have like real sandwiches and they have like a real Coca-Cola can and they have like a bag of actual Doritos and they have like real Oreos. And I just remember like thinking like, dude, I thought I had like real cookies, but then I realized like, dude, I've got like the 99-cent bag of cookies. Like, and I've got like the knockoff Cheetos and stuff. And so
did it make you feel like you were less?
Yeah, I mean, it really, it stuck with me forever. Like, something I didn't know how to talk to anybody about. And no one really knew I was going through that. But it would keep me up at night. It really stressed me out a lot as a kid, it's funny, I'm over 40 now and I distinctly remember elementary school moments where like my teacher, she said that, she would kind of, I don't know if she was doing like some funny bribe where she said like, bring her Cheetos. She loves Cheetos. And so all the kids would bring her these Cheetos. Well, like Cheetos for my family was different. It was like buying a giant bag of like super cheap knockoff Cheetos, putting them in a Ziploc bag that didn't even have a zipper on it. Like you tied the top.
Yep.
And then I thought I was hooking her up. Like I was like, oh my gosh, man, here I'm gonna
Now's my chance.
Yeah, and what I was doing was I was giving it to her out of my lunch. You know, like we didn't have like
Oh my God.
we didn't have like extra, so I just took what I had out of my lunch and I gave it to her, and I was so proud of that. Like I'm 40 years old, and I remember that moment of like giving it to her on her desk, and I remember her just like laughing at it, and she's like, "Those are not Cheetos."
Oh no.
And she had this look on her face like,
Come
"Did
on.
you touch those before you put them in the bag?" And I was just like,
Yeah.
well, how was I supposed to get them in the bag?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, like, man, it was just,
Yeah.
it was the craziest feeling, like going back to your desk and like realizing like I am nothing like these kids. You know?
Is that what pushed you?
Yeah, I think so. I think like when I got into my teens,
How old were you when that happened?
I mean, I was in elementary, so I was probably
Okay.
I was probably in 5th grade or 4th grade.
Okay. Did you stay there when you became an athlete?
Yeah, so I kept going to school there,
Did you feel like you were starting to fit in?
you know, I think what really changed was my dad also realized like he wanted to put us in he wanted to get us out of the city and out of the inner city. So he moved us like as far as he could, like out into the sticks. So we went from like the inner city to Maple Valley, which is like, it sounds like it's in the sticks, right? It's literally in the sticks. And so there, you know, that's where I started playing like my more formidable years. Of
What
sports.
age?
Probably like junior high, like mid-junior high.
Because at some point you became a rock star running back.
Yeah.
And I know this, and because when it takes a really something special to get D1 scholarships and to get people looking at you that were looking at you.
Yeah.
So you act like it's no big deal, which you do with everything. But I want to know at what point did you realize you had a gift as an athlete?
I really didn't know because I mean my dad played in semi-pro in Europe, so he was a defensive lineman, so he didn't really understand like the skilled positions, but he understood football, and he would teach us the game like as we would watch it on TV, and so when he finally let us play football, we went to try out, and I became a starter right away, and I was like one of the best players on the team.
Junior high.
Yeah, in junior high. And I played with some studs. I mean, I played with like one of the best athletes on the whole West Coast. Long story short, this kid's name was Troy, and he ended up passing away in our freshman year of high school. He had a heart problem, which is actually why one of my kids is named Troy.
Really?
After him.
You guys got to be that good of friends?
Yeah, we were best friends. And
was he one of the rich kids?
Yes. Yeah, he was wealthy, and but he was super, super cool.
He didn't see you as an inner city kid. He saw you as James.
Yeah, and he thought our differences were cool, and that was one thing that really attracted.
That's all you needed, man. Yeah, come on, let's go.
Us together. So
yeah, I love it.
But yeah, like, so it was interesting. Like once he passed away, like I was kind of like the next best guy on the freshman football team. You know, I was the start. Like he was our starting quarterback, and then it was like I was going to be the starting quarterback. And
so you were a quarterback and a linebacker.
Yeah. So in my freshman year, I mean, I played every skill position from running back to receiver, but I was a starting quarterback. But if we were going to throw the ball, they would tell me to go play receiver, and somebody would throw me the ball. You know, if the defense was going to for sure run on like a 4th and short, I'd play linebacker. You know,
yeah.
If we needed to sack the quarterback, I'd play defensive end. You know, if they had a receiver who would catch the ball, I'd go just be a corner for the whole game. I just played quarterback
moved you wherever they knew they needed help.
I was returning kicks. I mean, I never got off the field, and I pretty much felt like I always had the ball on the every play.
Was your dad so proud of you? I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, it was weird because like as I was excelling, my dad like really loved me, my parents loved me, but like he was one of those guys where like he worked 2 jobs, and it just never he wasn't able to be around, you know. So which really made sports unfulfilling, which was the craziest thing. It was like I was excelling and doing well, and my one of the a quarterback coach was the offensive coordinator on our high school team. He told me, he said, "Dude, you are the best freshman quarterback I've ever seen, ever." And he was a D1 quarterback, threw for 4,000 yards his senior season. Heck, he was a stud quarterback.
Legit.
He got drafted in the NFL, or I think he walked on. He was short, so he didn't get drafted, but he was on an NFL roster. But he knew talent, you know. And I was
Were you becoming kind of an asshole at this point, or were you?
Yeah, that's funny. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I was battling between like being a jock and going on that road, or like becoming a thug, like a real thug. Like I was involved in gang activity. We weren't a real gang, but we thought we were.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 5 or 6 of us. We were doing organized crime. We had a gang leader who was from LA who had moved up there. When they were pushing people out of LA, there was this drug program called the DARE program.
Yeah,
they were pushing
I remember
everyone out.
DARE, drug abuse resistance awareness or something like that.
Yeah, and it was like, this is your brain on drugs. Those kind of commercials were coming out.
The
you know?
egg.
Yeah, and so they were these gang guys were leaving LA, and one of them ended up in our neighborhood. And so his name was Anthony, and he taught us how to shoot a gun. He taught us about sex.
A gang leader?
Things. Yeah, he started like his own
Like,
little
that's
clique.
what I am. I'm a gang, happen to be a gang leader. I mean, that's
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
and
Wow.
somehow because he didn't graduate high school, he ended up enrolling in our school. And so he was like 22 years old or 21 years old, and he was going to our high school,
and so
which
here
was
you
crazy
are.
because we were like, wait a minute, dude, like you're trying to get with 16-year-old girls and you're 21. Like it was just the weirdest thing. But when you're in a liberal area, it's like, I guess.
Okay, so you're pulling up. You're becoming a legit running back, quarterback, cornerback, everything. Are you bringing some of your ghetto friends up the food chain with you? Because how's that?
Yeah, so I remember like after practice or after a big game, like we're in the locker room, all the kids, and we're in our street clothes, and then all like my ghetto homeboys would come and sit with me in the locker room and start talking to me, bro, good game, dapping me up, like doing all that stuff, talking ghetto, using the N-word, like all that, you know. And I mean, when you actually grow up in the inner city, everyone uses the N-word. Like it's not even still to this day, like it's not like you see on TV where it's like a thing. But no one really cares in the inner city. So like, so the coaches would see that and hear that, and they're like, dude, you're not one of them. Like you're the starting quarterback on the football team. Like you're not them, you know. And so they would pull me in, and they're like, dude.
Crazy spot for you to be in.
They're like, I mean, I remember distinctly, they're like, James, you need to make a decision in your life. This is going to change your life. Are you going to go with them or are you going to go with us? And you need to make that decision. And so what I had been taught in the streets, those were my mentors, right? Those are the people from the streets. Those are the people who are spending the most time with me. It's like, you never sell out your crew. You know, you never sell out you know, that's your family. You don't sell them out. And so, I made my choice I was going to play sports, but I was also going to be, try to be hood.
I am one of them.
Yeah. And I was like, you know, you're not taking the hood out of me, you know, that kind of thing. And so, I think like after football, I played 5 sports. I played football, baseball. I was starting center fielder. I was a starter on the basketball team. I played track and field. I was all state in the 200. I was a high jumper.
Super fast. What was?
Yeah, I was really fast. I mean, I was, and I could jump and I could throw and then I just had like, people would say like I have this like they call it like cerebral skill or something like that, where like I can just dissect the plays. You can tell me a play and I can run the whole offense and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, high IQ.
Yeah. And so, like after football, basketball, and I was starting on the basketball team. And then like, same thing. The coach was like, dude, you've got to make a decision. Are you going with them or are you coming with us? You know, are you going to be on the basketball team or are you going to be on their team?